Hey, what is up everybody, Chuck here, and welcome to today's daily Pokemon Go video. Today is something that I have been waiting to do for a very long time. Today we are going to be spending the most valuable item in Pokemon Go, Stardust. I mean, we all know it takes forever to accumulate enough to do like a spending spree, and then it only takes like 20 minutes to do that spree. So I've got a list of about 30 or so Pokemon that I'm going to be spending my Stardust on, and we have a whole bunch of evolutions to do. And just wait, check this out. My item inventory may make some of you jealous. 20 fast TMs, we got 16 charge TMs, 252 rare candies, of which I will probably spend a majority of them on Lugia because I ran out of Lugia candy, and just one Pokeball. Now with the introduction of legendary raids, a lot of Pokemon in Pokemon Go have kind of lost their value. I mean, now there's only about a dozen Pokemon that are viable options when battling a legendary, so we're going to be focusing primarily on Pokemon like Lugia and Tyranitar and Golem and some of the other Pokemon, the regulars, but then also some Pokemon that I just want to see leveled up. So we got Dragonite, we got a Lugia, Tyranitar, Blissey, Amstar, Charizard, a couple of Alakazams, Vileplume, Tyranitar, again a Rhydon because I just haven't spent much Stardust on Rhydon recently. Another Dragonite, our Moltres, I've got a 93% one, a couple of Vaporeons that are at 100%, a perfect Machamp, a perfect Pinsir, a perfect Ampharos, 91% Porygon, we got a couple really good Eevees, a very good Onix we're going to evolve, and a perfect Magikarp that we're going to evolve. Now I don't plan on getting a whole bunch of experience, but given the fact that I'm going to be evolving quite a few Pokemon, we might as well take advantage of it. So first Pokemon that we need to evolve from this list right here is our 96% IV's Chansey, 1225 CP. I caught it on July 11th, so a little less than a month ago. And we're going to evolve it. Now I have plenty of Chansey candy. Chanseys spawn everywhere in northern Colorado. About 80% of the time when I go to Target, there's a Chansey there. So if I go like 4 times in a week, I'm probably gonna find like 3 of them. So here is our Blissey. The CP is gonna be good. I'm thinking like 27-21 with Pound and Dazzling Gleam. That may have just become my new best Blissey. Let's go. Now I don't really use Blissey very often, and by the way, if you do use them when you're battling legendary raids, shame on you. Although I can understand when you get kicked out and you want to go back in and you've got your 6 Pokemon auto-selected, I don't blame you. It takes forever sometimes on that laggy screen. Okay, next Pokemon we are going to evolve are 91% Porygon. We're going to evolve it into a Porygon 2. I have plenty of evolution items. In fact, let me show you guys. I don't really know what to do with them. I've actually gotten to the point now where I am transferring them because honestly, most of them aren't very useful. So we got 3 Sunstones, 5 King's Rocks, 7 Metal Coats, 2 Dragon Scales, and 2 upgrades. We're going to be using one of those upgrades right now. Now the thing with Porygon 2 is it's not really useful yet, and it won't be useful until we have Porygon Z, so the moveset that we get with this Porygon 2, although it could be terrible, it doesn't really matter in the long run, especially when they brought TMs into the game. So I'm probably going to get like Solar Beam, Charge Beam, and Zap Cannon, which is actually very, very good for taking out water Pokemon. But we're probably not going to spend any Stardust on that. Next up, we have our 96% IV Scyther. We are going to turn that bad boy into a Scissor. And again, moves don't really matter as much when you're doing evolutions because of TM. So I guess we're hoping for Bug-type moves, maybe Fighting, and we got Fury Cutter, which is good, and Night Slash, which is not good. So I will probably end up using a Charge TM on it, although I don't really use Scissor as much as I would have liked to. Okay, we got that one done. What else do we have to do? We've got a 93% Eevee. Now, this is where it gets interesting. For the entirety of Pokemon Go, we've always hoped that our good Eevees were going to turn into a Vaporeon. I am now hoping for a good Jolteon. You know what? Before we do that, let's actually go with our 98% Eevee, which is even better, and let's just pray that we get a Jolteon. Now, I've got 2 perfect Vaporeons that we're going to be powering up. I mean, I've got some Vaporeons that are around like Jolteon. Alright, well we got a 1573 with Ember and Fire Blast, very good moveset, although you can't really get a bad moveset with Flareon or any of the evolutions really. I mean, I've got a couple of Vaporeons, 2917, 2903, 2649, and they're all like certainly caught my attention. None of them are great, but I don't feel the need to power them up because I know I'm kind of just wasting candy and Stardust on them. So we're going to spend most of our candy leveling up these 100% Vaporeons and evolving this 93% Eevee. We're hoping for a Jolteon. Leave your predictions. Are we going to get a Jolteon? I wish there was a way to tell, but I don't think there is. There's no trick like there is with Tyro. I've never wanted a Jolteon from an evolution. Ever! But the one time I want one, I'm going to get... It's going to be a very good Vaporeon. I mean, we know that. It's going to be like 2,500 right off the bat. 2691 without touching it. Water Gun Hydro Pump caught wild at 93% IVs. Look at that bad boy. Okay, I guess we've got another very good Vaporeon. That kind of eliminates the need to level up both of those other two Vaporeons. So we may have to hold off on that. Really kind of bummed out about not getting a better electric type Pokemon. But we do have a perfect Ampharos, so I cannot complain too much. And we're also going to talk about some other things going on in Pokemon Go right now, like that Pokemon Go festival gathering event. Let's call it an event in Europe. By the way, Donphan, I love Donphan. I just haven't found any use for him at all, especially when you get tackle and play rough with your ground type Pokemon. Not very useful. That just kind of sucks actually, because I love Donphan. But speaking of that event over in Europe, I think next up we're gonna go at this Onyx, turn that bad boy into a Steelix, 96% IVs. Speaking of that event in Europe, I mean, there are unknowns spawning way more frequently than there were in Chicago, at least when I was playing the game in Chicago. I don't know about the days after the event was over, but there are literally, I'm having sightings sent into me of 2, 3, sometimes even 4 that are spawning at lures and incense and whatever is going on. 1376 with Dragon Tail and Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam's good, Dragon Tail not so much. Now here's where it gets tricky. I've got a 93% IVs Dratini with 228 Dratini candy. But I've also got 289% Dragonite, so I don't know that I want to use 125 candies quite yet to evolve a 93% Dratini. I don't know if that's actually worth it. So right now we're gonna hold off on it. But I do have a perfect Magikarp, and I know I've been saving up candies. I have 1,406 of them. I've been saving up candies basically in the hopes that I will find like 3 random shiny Magikarps, and that hasn't happened. I've got 1, but that's it. So we're gonna evolve this, and I'm kind of hoping for Bite and Crunch, as terrible as that may sound. I don't really know what I want from my Gyarados anymore. I just feel like all of the water type Pokemon have kind of, oops, sorry camera. I just feel like all of the water type Pokemon have kind of become useless. Dragon Tail and Crunch, which I think is actually a decent moveset, doesn't matter, I have a bunch of TM. But in terms of simply battling against legendary Pokemon, having Bite and Crunch is incredibly useful, even though Gyarados isn't even a dark type Pokemon. Okay, so I think that covers the evolutions. We did 8 of them. We did a whopping 8 evolutions for my 8,000 XP. Good work, Chuck, thanks. We do have a Rhydon raid in the distance, which is absolutely worthless, so we're not gonna do that. All right, on to our Stardust spending spree. We're gonna talk about the Europe event in a little bit, but let's start it off with Lugia. I have a 98% IVs Lugia. I double checked, I triple checked, I quadruple checked, because when I made the video, this is the one that Niantic gave to me. When I made the video saying, oh my god, Niantic gave me a 98% Lugia, people were like, wait, Chuck, wait, don't level it up, it's only 80% IVs. I double checked it and I ran the appraisal through a bunch of IV checkers, and it is in fact 98%. I'll show it again, and just in case you don't believe me and you want to check it at home, it's a wonder HP defense exceeds my calculations. So here we go, our Lugia is going to be our best Pokemon by far. I plan on definitely wasting all of my rare candy on my Lugia because, you know, it's great to have a nice Psychic type Pokemon. We're up to 3095 using just simply our Lugia candy. We are going to now go to our rare candies and give ourselves, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 18, 19. You guys are really sick of that, I know. Okay, so I think we now have about 30 candies for our Lugia, exactly 30, and we're gonna power this bad boy up. I think I could get this one up around 3,500. I did just hit level 37 like 2 days ago, so we're at 3120. I think we could get it up around 3550, I think, 3560 maybe even. Okay, so we're at 3223. It is officially now my second best Pokemon, I think. 3223? Yes, second to my Tyranitar at 3301. But back to that Europe event, I am a tad bit jealous. I mean, it's really cool that it's happening not just in one place, but all across the entire continent. I mean, not in every single city or every single country, but it is happening pretty widespread, and people are getting incredible spawns. They're getting Kangaskhan, which has teleported from Australia up to Europe, which is kind of unfortunate for us over here in America. I mean, we had GoFest and Heracross was spawning there, but for everybody else who had already traveled down to just Florida or Texas, where you can catch Heracross, it wasn't very exciting. I would have loved to see like Mr. Mime or Farfetch'd or even Kangaskhan show up at GoFest, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but for everybody who's enjoying themselves at the European GoFest thing, hopefully you're having a good time. All right, I don't know exactly how many candies I'm gonna need for this Lugia, but I say we take it down to 200 rare candies, and that'll leave us somewhere around 30 more Lugia candies, which should give us like 4 or 5 power-ups. Oh my god, it's only gonna give us 3 power-ups. 3. That gets depressing when you start going through candies like this. 3248, 3274. This next one's going to give us exactly 3300. No, 3299. Really? Basically, at this point, I'm using, what, 8 candies? Now it's going to bump up to 9 and maybe even 10 candies for every power-up. That's basically like 1 legendary raid per Lugia power-up right now. And that is very depressing to think about. I think we'll get ourselves up to... God, I really just want to max it out. I really, really do. Officially, 3325, my new best Pokemon in Pokemon Go. You know what? I really just want to get it up to 3400. Just to say I have a 3400 Pokemon. 3351. 3402, I officially have my first ever 3400 CP Pokemon, and it is a beautiful Lugia. Let's go down to our Golem. I have a 96% IVs Golem. It's actually my buddy right now. It started off as a Geodude, and I started evolving it. Whatever, okay. We've got Rock Throw and Rock Blast, which isn't the greatest. Rock Throw and Stone Edge is better, and you know what I'm going to do, actually, is just go ahead and teach it Rock Throw and Stone Edge. Although... I'm probably going to waste one of these. It's probably not going to learn Stone Edge, is it? Nope. Of course it learns Earthquake. And then it gets Rock Blast. Okay. I didn't think that this is how it would... Give me Stone Edge. How many times... Think! God, I just wasted 5 TMs to teach a Pokemon one move. That shouldn't be possible. It shouldn't be able to learn a move that you've already... Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not that angry. Okay, well, here's our Rock Throw Stone Edge 96% Golem, and it is time to power this bad boy up. I'm thinking we should make it our best Golem, 2640. Not, we gotta get 2700. We gotta do it. Gonna take 2 more power-ups, and oh my god, that start, I just lost another 50,000. It is very bittersweet. There it is, over 2700 with our Golem. Oh, it is a thing of beauty. I can still do it a couple more times. So our Golem is done with. Oh, Lord. Okay. Now, do we spend all of our Larvitar candies, of which I have 298? And I know some people are like, Chuck, that's how? Well, at GoFest, I had a bunch of Tyranitar raids, and I did like 3, 4, maybe 5 of them. I don't even remember. I can show you my collection in a little bit. And this is the best one that I caught from it. I think I got it in Chicago. I did. So it was 93% IVs, and I was using Pinot Berries because I got really cocky. But I have a ton of candies to spend, and I have an 89% and a 93%. By the way, this one's got Bite and Crunch. I will probably change that later on to Stone Edge. 89. The difference between 89% and 93% isn't very much, given the fact that I have a 600 CP difference. That's like 12 power-ups, and that's like 40 extra. Let's go with our 89%. Let's get this bad boy up around 3400, which really shouldn't be an issue. You know what? I'm going to turn off notifications for Twitter real quick because it's getting annoying. Thank God. 3007, I think that's my third 3000 plus CP Tyranitar. But this one has the highest IVs, so we're going to get it over 3400, hopefully. And it may be our new best Pokemon. And there it is, over 3421. There was a bug, sorry. 3421, officially our new best Pokemon. We already have 2 new best Pokemon today, which is pretty cool. I kind of want to get my first ever 3500 CP Pokemon. And I know some people are like, Chuck, why wouldn't you just use it on the 93% IVs? Well, that would have taken like 50 extra candy just to get it up to the level that this one was at before we started powering it up. Of course, it stops at 34.99. I can do one more. 12 candies for this power up. Totally worth it. 35.25. What a beauty. And honestly, the difference between 93% and 89% IVs is like not much CP in the long run and probably not worth an extra like 50 or 60 candies. So, okay, we got a 93% Vaporeon. I feel like I should just spend my Stardust on that one as opposed to the 100% ones, just because getting them up there is going to take so much Stardust. Yeah, let's work on our 93% one and maybe get it up around 3,000 because... Network error. Thanks, Europe. But I don't know what's happening. What is it, just gonna freeze? Don't crash my... If you crash my screen, I'm not drawing this. Okay. I was not about to draw all of these animations. That would have killed me. Okay, so this camera will stop recording at exactly 29 minutes and 50 seconds into a video. I am not sure when we hit that point, but it was probably a couple minutes ago. So I don't know at what point we left off and my camera stopped recording. But we did power up our Alakazams over 2400. Not sure if you saw that. I don't know what else we just did. Our Moltres over 2,000, and that's about it. Everything else had just kind of been talked. But quick recap, we do have a Tyranitar at 3525, Lugia at 3402, and our Dragonite, our new best one, at 3308. So we've got 3 very, very, very powerful Pokemon. We also powered up our Amstar. I don't know, by the way, let me know in the comments below, can I teach my Amstar any rock type moves right now, or should I just leave it at Water Gun, Hydro Pump? I'm not really sure what to do with it. Okay, I got a couple perfect Vaporeons, but to be honest, 93% right now is good enough for me. We got a perfect Machamp and a perfect Gyarados and a perfect Amparos down here. I don't know what to do. Now, next up on our list is our 2083 CP, 93% IVs Tyranitar. But let me show you my list of Tyranitars, and you're gonna see why I don't necessarily need to power any more of them up. I've got a 3525, a 3301, a 3060, and a 2643. I think that is plenty. Okay, Machamp is a pretty universally useful Pokemon in addition to Gyarados, so I think we're gonna do a little bit of Machamp work here. It's got Counter and Dynamic Punch. By the way, probably one of my best raid Pokemon I've ever gotten. A perfect one with the best moveset. Let's go. Although close combat may be better than Dynamic Punch. I don't really know. All right, we're gonna stop at 2100 CP just because I'll probably end up spending way too much Machop Candy and way too much Stardust on this bad boy that I probably won't use very often. We're gonna go back to this Golem, by the way, and we're just gonna keep powering it up because let's be real, Golem is the best Pokemon, maybe besides Tyranitar, in terms of legendary raids in the game right now. It would be a shame to sit here and have this one not completely maxed out at 96% IV, so let's do it. We're gonna be able to do it 2 more times, get it up around 2800, 2794, although it did take 5 TMs to teach it Stone Edge. You know what, let's get our Vaporeon up just a tad bit more. I'm thinking over 2900. Although it would be really nice to have a 3000 CP Vaporeon. Let's go. I feel like people had that like 8 months ago, so I'm a little bit behind the curve, but it's okay. Gosh, this is tough. And if you're wondering about Articuno, I do have 3 Articunos, but my best one is 84% IVs. Okay, let's do Articuno. It does have Frost Breath and Blizzard, which is a great moveset. I just don't have too much candy, but whatever candy we do have right now for it, we're gonna spend. And it'll probably end up somewhere around, maybe around 2000. And our last one, 2004. It is really a shame, though I hope I get a chance to get a better Articuno. 84% isn't great, but I really shouldn't complain. I have plenty of legendaries. You know what? Let's give our perfect Ampharos just a little bit of love. And I believe Charge Beam and Zap Cannon is the best moveset for Ampharos. Don't quote me because every single website you look at tells you something different, especially when it comes to, is it the best defending moveset or the best attacking moveset? And then I've got comments everywhere that are like, Chuck, you're an idiot. It's not the best moveset. Calm down. 1963, which means this next one right here will be our last one, and it will put us over 2000, just like our Articuno. Okay, I've got to do it. I'm sorry. This Tyranitar is now 3551. I think that's the last power-up I can do. It is. Unfortunately, I've hit the peak with that power-up. You know what? I do have 126 Larvitar. I caved. We're working on Tyranitar number 2. The 93% IVs is what got me. And we have plenty of Larvitar candy, and to be honest, it's kind of burning a hole in my pocket, so I might as well use it. I'm actually just gonna go until we're out of Larvitar candy on this bad boy. We might as well have another 3200 CP. Now I know it has Iron Tail and Crunch. I'm probably actually gonna spend the TMs on it right when we're done powering this up and teach it Bite and Stone Edge. Bite and Crunch is great, but I want another one with Bite and Stone Edge. So, you know what? Let's stop at 3333. I like that number. So we have 3 new best Pokemon today, which is awesome. Now, if I don't spend my candies and my Stardust on this Gyarados right now, I will probably never do it. So let's do it. How many of you guys have ever done a massive Stardust spending? What is the most you've ever spent at one time? Because every time I do it, even if it's only like 400,000, I still sit there and I just look and I'm like, it's basically starting over. Getting to 1,000,000 Stardust took me forever this time. And you want to know the reason? Do you want to know the reason? It's because I made a video where I used a bunch of Dittos to try and take down a Gengar because Gengar is weak against Gengar. So I was like, why not throw a bunch of Dittos that'll turn into Gengar? Well, I spent a whole bunch of Stardust. You don't really want to know how much I spent. You don't want... It was somewhere around 200,000 on 3 Dittos. It was the biggest waste of Stardust I have ever done, and I will never do it again, but it already happened. So that's why it took me so long. I was up around 800,000 Stardust at that point, and then that took another 200,000 away. So I could have done this video probably like a month ago had I not done that, but I'm an idiot. How many more power-ups can I do on this Lugia? I think I can do 2. I think I can do 2 more here. So there we have it, 3453 for our Lugia. Oh God, it is beautiful. Our Machamp, you know, I probably should have spent a little bit more time on that Machamp, gave it a little bit more love. You know what? We're gonna give this Amstar just a tad bit more love, give it up around 2550 because we can power it up at least one more time. Okay, yeah, now we're out of Ammonite candy. 2543 is we're going to call it quits right there. I guess we're going to give Machamp a little bit more love. I mean, it is perfect and it's got a very good moveset and it's useful in a ton of raids, just not necessarily legendary ones, but it would be a waste to not power this bad boy up. So 50,000 Stardust is all we have left, 950,000 down the drain. 30,000 Stardust left, and you know what? We still have plenty of Dratini candy. We might as well give it to Dragonite. Dragonite, just eat my dust. Eat my dust and eat my candy. Just take it. Just take it. I think we can do one more. Maybe two. We can do two more. This Dragonite's going to be over 3,400, as if we needed another 3,400 plus CP, and we are down to 497 Stardust. And we officially now have 3 Pokemon over 3,400. Let's go to our top CP Pokemon. That's beautiful. That is quite the collection. We now have 10 Pokemon over 3,000 CP. I'm giving myself a pat on the back for that one. So there you have it. And we're literally down to 497 Stardust, which is really sad because it takes forever to acquire a million. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let's see if we can get to 13 likes. If you enjoy Pokemon Go videos, make sure to subscribe. I will be uploading absolutely daily videos, so you will always be able to come to my channel every single day and look at my beautiful face. I love you guys. Take it easy.